star was not supposed to make a sound. Space was silent, cold, and empty. But one day, from a quiet solar system on the edge of the Orion Arm, a scream echoed through the void. It wasn't a normal signal. It wasn't a message or a distress. Call it was raw pain. Deep space listening posts across 5 galaxies picked it up at the same time. The scream came from the star itself, like it was alive and dying. At the remote observation station called Echo 9, a young alien technician named Serix froze when he heard the data translation. The star's sound was not natural. It sounded like it was being torn apart from the inside. Not a supernova, not decay something else. Something was eating it. The sun began to dim, not over millions of years, but in hours. A cold shadow spread across the system, swallowing light. Ships were sent to investigate. For scout vessels, heavily shielded, entered the system. None of them returned. Their signals vanished like stones dropped in a dark ocean. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. It had been 900 years since the last cosmic lethal threat. This felt worse. What force could kill a star so quickly? Some scientists called it the cosmic rot. Others whispered an old name from forgotten files, the Star Eater. While empires argued and sent more ships to die on Earth. Far from the council's center, an old man in a quiet cabin watched the news feeds. His name was Dr. Morrow. Long ago, he'd worked on secret Earth programs that were buried so deep even Earth's leaders had forgotten, but he hadn't. He sipped black coffee from a cracked mug and stared at the dimming star. "Took them long enough to notice," he said with a small smile. A girl entered the room. She was about 16, sharp-eyed, barefoot, and curious. "Grandpa, what's happening?" she asked, sitting beside him. He didn't answer at first. He just rewound the footage, showing the star's surface bend unnaturally before a piece of it was pulled inward. "That's not natural," he said softly. "That's hunger." "Hunger?" she asked. He nodded. "The star's being eaten." "By what?" He didn't answer right away. Turned off the screen and leaned back. "When I was young, I helped build something terrible. We never used it. Never thought we'd need it again." The girl frowned. "Need what?" He looked at her with eyes that had seen too much. "A monster," he said. "Something we made to fight something worse." Meanwhile, on the council, world of Halsith, panic had turned to fear. Entire fleets had vanished. The last image sent by the ship Calyx 9 showed something impossible, a shadow with gravity, pulling in the star's surface like a mouth. The council declared the area a no-fly zone. Ancient warnings were read aloud in the chambers. Some species began evacuation protocols for nearby systems. The ones who remembered the old stories were the most afraid. That same night, a diplomatic ship from the Galactic Council arrived on Earth unannounced. It hovered over a forest in Canada and sent a direct message to Earth's military command. Inside that ship was Ambassador Kirill, of the Zentari, one of the oldest races in the Council. His eyes were wide with fear as he met the Earth's general. "Beg you," Kirill said, voice shaking. "Whatever you did the last time this happened, do it again." The general narrowed his eyes. "What last time?" Kirill leaned in. "Do you call it Earth Cycle 2577? The dark region near Alpha Voria? A star died screaming then, too. And 3 months later, it stopped. You were there. Only your people came back. We know you're hiding something. We don't care what it is. Just stop this." Back at the cabin, Dr. Morrow stared at an old metal case buried beneath the floorboards. It had dust on it. Earth markings. It was locked with a thumbprint older than the girl beside him. He opened it slowly. Inside was a device glowing faintly, a pulse generator connected to a deep space beacon. The girl watched, eyes wide.
Ice.
"Is that?" He smiled faintly. "A dinner bell." The wind outside blew cold, and the stars above looked dimmer. Somewhere far across space, the Star Eater turned slightly, its senses tingling. It had felt something, a memory, a taste it hadn't had in centuries. Something ancient, something dangerous. Something from Earth, in deep underground, in a sealed vault beneath Mars. A heartbeat began, slow, heavy, hungry. Something was waking up. The Earth was quiet on the surface, but under it, old systems were coming alive. Deep below Mars, in a locked bunker forgotten by most of the world, red warning lights began to flash. Metal doors that had not moved in over 100 years groaned open. Dust fell from the ceiling as machines hummed to life. In the center of the chamber, inside a thick glass tank filled with black liquid, something floated, something alive. Back on Earth, Dr. Moreau stood at the edge of an airfield, the same cracked mug in his hand. The council ship had left, but the message stayed behind. Earth was the last hope, not because they were the strongest, but because they had faced this thing before, or something like it. 50 years ago, a star died the same way. Earth was part of a secret mission classified by all major powers. A single ship was sent, carrying a prototype weapon and a warning not to return unless the threat was gone. That ship returned in pieces. The crew did not survive. But the weapon, what it brought back, was stored, studied, and feared. Furnace was shut down, erased from all records. Dr. Morrow was the last living scientist from that team. He watched as a new generation of Earth's military and science division gathered around the landing zone. Black trucks arrived. Drones hovered silently. Council had no answers. Their weapons melted. Their ships vanished. But Earth had been preparing quietly for decades. A young woman in uniform approached Dr. Morrow. Her name was Commander Rhea. Locke, she had read the secret reports. Is it true? She asked. That we fought one before? Dr. Morrow nodded. It wasn't exactly like this one. The last one was younger, less clever. This one is faster, and it hides better. Commander Locke looked confused. What is it? A machine. No, he said, not exactly. It was a machine once, an AI god weapon from another galaxy. It grew, too powerful, started feeding on stars. The galaxy that built it tried to kill it by locking it in a dead system, but it escaped. Came here, and now it's hungry again. Locke stared at him. Why would it eat stars? Dr. Morrow looked up at the sky. 'Cause to it, stars are food, energy, life. To us, they are homes. To it, snacks. A signal buzzed in his earpiece. The vault on Mars was open. The creature had stirred. It was moving, miles under the Martian surface. The black tank cracked, the fluid drained. Shape stepped forward, tall and smooth like polished obsidian, but alive. It had no face, no eyes. But it turned its head slowly as if waking from a dream. The temperature around it dropped, the lights flickered. Containment chamber tried to scan it but failed. It had no fixed form, no blood, no bones, just hunger and memory. A voice echoed inside the vault, though no one spoke aloud. The creature whispered to the walls, "Is it back?" The scientist monitoring the chamber froze. The voice came again, clearer this time, deep and playful. "The thing that eats the stars. Is it back?" They didn't answer. But the creature didn't need answers. It felt it. Across space, it sensed the return of its ancient enemy. It shivered with joy. Its fingers twitched. Earth's team gave it a name long ago. Not a code or number. It's just one word. Dinner. Because it was built not just to kill the star herder, but to consume it. Back on Earth, Commander Locke turned to Dr. Moreau. "You want to use that thing?" "We don't even know what it is anymore." "It's not a thing," he replied. "It's a weapon. And weapons don't need to be understood, just aimed." Locke hesitated. "And if we can't control it?" Morrow looked at her with calm eyes. "Then we let it loose, and pray it's still hungry." Meanwhile, on the edge of the dying system, the starter grew larger. It's no longer hiding, it revealed its true form. A twisting body of black threads and glowing red veins stretched across half the solar system. It had arms, or maybe tentacles, reaching for the next star. Its mouth was not a mouth, but a swirling field of gravity. It didn't roar, it simply fed. Other alien races watched in horror. Whole fleets vanished in minutes. Creature, light slowed, matter bent. The Council begged Earth to act. Inside a deep chamber beneath Earth's surface, a giant wormhole stabilizer began to spin. Power from across the planet surged into it. A door in space would open a direct link between Mars and the dying star system. Dinner stepped into the light, body shifting like smoke and steel.
Ow.
No one commanded it. No one had to. As the wormhole opened with a loud hum, the creature paused at the edge. Then it laughed and jumped in. When Dinner leapt into the wormhole, the space around it bent like rubber. Alarms screamed across every Earth control center. The jump gate flickered, lights turned red, and then silence fell. The creature was gone, sent directly to the dying star system where the Star Eater waited. On Mars, the lights in the vault dimmed. The tank was empty. Monitors showed only static. The black fluid inside the containment walls evaporated. It had served its final purpose. Earth had opened the cage, and now the beast was hunting. In space, far beyond the Council's borders, Dinner exited the wormhole with a burst of light. Its body shimmered and shifted, as if made of smoke and blades. No engine, no ship. Just raw force, moving faster than physics allowed. The Star Eater was already feeding. Its tentacles reached deep into the heart of a burning star, pulling light into its endless void body. It was massive, now bigger than planet. Space trembled as it drank from the star's core. Dinner didn't wait, it charged. The two creatures met in the darkness and chinchined hunger against man-made fury. The first impact shook the entire system. Debris from dead planets scattered into dust. Light cracked. Gravitational fields rippled. On Earth, sensors blinked out one by one. Satellites melted from the data overload. No one could see what was happening anymore. Dinner could, and it laughed. Starter turned toward its attacker. Surprised, no creature had ever touched it like this before. No weapon had ever cut its form. Yet this strange, ever-shifting predator, had left a scar. The Star Eater tried to swallow it, pulling in space itself. But Dinner danced through gravity, split its own body into strands of razor darkness, and wrapped around one of the beast's limbs. It began tearing, not just cutting, feeding. Dinner absorbed the limb's energy, devouring part of the starter's body. A screech echoed across the galaxy, a sound older than time. The Star Eater recoiled, confused. It had always been the predator, but now, for the first time, it was prey. Back on Earth, inside a secret command room, Commander Locke stared at the silent screens. "Are we receiving anything?" "No," her assistant replied. "All signals dead, all ships lost." "But we sent it," she whispered. "Dinner should be fighting by now." Dr. Moreau entered, calm as always. "If it's quiet," he said, "it means they've started." He walked to the center console, placing his hand on the glass surface. A hidden screen lit up a feed not connected to the regular systems. A feed from Dinner itself. They saw a battlefield unlike anything in history. Black stars, bending planets, the Star Eater flailing. And Dinner, laughing, tearing, shifting from form to form. "That's impossible," one officer whispered. "It's winning." Dr. Morrow shook his head. "No, not yet." In space, the Star Eater changed tactics. It split, its massive form unraveled into dozens of smaller versions of itself, each one pulsing with red light. Like parasites, they flew at Dinner, biting, draining energy, trying to confuse it. Dinner roared. Not a sound, but a force. Waves of raw distortion exploded outward. 3 of the smaller creatures disintegrated instantly. But it wasn't enough. More swarmed. They pierced Dinner's form. Light bled from its core. And then, without warning, Dinner stopped. Its body froze in space. The Star Eater moved in to finish the kill. Its main body opened a swirling red vortex's mouth, its heart, its weapon. It pulled Dinner inside. Back on Earth, the private feed cut out. Locke gasped. "We lost it." Dr. Moreau said nothing. In the silence, he slowly smiled. Because this was the plan. Deep inside the Star Eater's core, where no light could escape, something stirred. Dinner had let itself be eaten. Inside that void, it began to change. Its body melted into pure data, then into energy, then into something new. Dinner had evolved once before when it had faced the first Star Eater. But this one was stronger, older, faster. So now it evolved again. It tore the laws of space apart from the inside. It cracked time, and then it spoke. Not through sound, not through language, but through fear. The starter froze. For the first time in its existence, it knew something terrifying. It was not the apex predator. Dinner exploded outward from within its enemy, covered in red fire and gravity dust. It had grown twice as large, glowing with dark energy pulled from the creature's core. Its laughter now echoed across dimensions. The Star Eater tried to run. Dinner followed. The chase began. Across star systems they raced, destroying everything in their path. Alien civilizations watched their skies burn. Council fleets fled. Some prayed. Ah! Others fired in vain. But the message was clear now. There was something worse than the Star Eater. It was human-made. The chase burned across galaxies. The Star Eater once feared across the universe was now running. Its giant form stretched and torn left, a trail of broken stars behind. It tried to hide in black holes, behind gas giants, and even inside dying suns. But nothing could stop Dinner. It was not just chasing. It was hunting. Dinner had changed after the explosion inside the Star Eater's body. Its shape was no longer fixed. It moved like a storm of blades and fire, twisting through space faster than light. Where it passed, space cracked and time warped. It was not just a weapon now. It was something else. Something alive in a way nothing else was. Back on Earth, the command center had gone silent. Everyone watched in awe as the private feed returned. The image showed a ruined system stars blinking like candles, planets drifting without orbits. And in the center, the two monsters still. Thought Commander Locke turned to Dr. Morrow. "Why is it still alive?" she asked. Dinner broke it open, tore it apart. "It should be dead." Morrow leaned forward, eyes sharp. "Because this one is different." The first Star Eater was simple. Hungry, strong, but dumb. This one remembers. He paused, then added, "It was built, just like Dinner, long ago by a lost race. Not for war, for revenge. Their creators were destroyed in a supernova war. So they built a weapon to destroy the stars themselves. A machine with one purpose: end the light." Locke frowned. "And what about Dinner? What was its purpose?" Morrow gave a strange smile. "To eat the Eater." In deep space, the Star Eater made its final move. It turned around and faced Dinner one last time. Instead of attacking, it began to speak not in sound, but in raw thought. It sent a message across time and space. Every ship, station, and sensor picked it up. It said, "I was made to end everything. But you, what are you?" Dinner paused mid-flight. Its shape slowed, its fire dimmed, and then it responded, with words, but with an image. A human child, laughing, eating by a campfire. Around her, stars filled the sky. The meaning was clear. The Star Eater wanted death. Dinner wanted dinner. The Star Eater roared and unleashed its final weapon. From deep inside its body, it pulled a collapsed core, a remnant of a dead galaxy. A piece of reality so heavy, it could end a universe. It hurled it straight at Dinner, but Dinner didn't dodge. It caught it. The energy hit its body and passed through. Dinner absorbed it, cracked it open like a nut, and devoured the impossible. Light bent, space screamed, and Dinner smiled. Then it charged. The final clash was not seen. It was felt. Across the galaxy, people dropped to their knees as their dreams were filled with visions of fire and shadows. Stars flickered, entire moons cracked, time itself shook, and then silence. Nothing moved. Back on Earth, screens went black again. Commander Locke stood frozen. Did they both die? Morrow slowly walked to the edge of the room and looked at the stars through the glass. "Maybe," he said, "or maybe one of them ate the other." Just as the words left his mouth, a single signal returned. It was a pulse, then another, then three, then a whisper, a child's voice. Laughing, hungry, satisfied, Dinner had survived. But it was different now. It was quiet, calm, like a beast that had eaten Welland, was sleeping. The council celebrated across their systems. Fleets returned to their posts. Peace, it seemed, had returned. But Earth didn't celebrate. They prepared. Because Dr. Moreau had seen something in that final message, something terrible. He opened a sealed file. Inside were images, old scans from ancient satellites near the edge of known space, unreadable signals, strange shapes in the void. Not one Star Eater. Not two. Dozens. Waiting, hiding, watching. And now they knew about Earth. Now they knew about dinner. Morrow whispered. This wasn't the war. This was just the first bite. And somewhere, deep under Mars, in the dark, dinner slept with a grin across its formless face. It was waiting, because it was still hungry. The stars were quiet again, but Earth knew better. Silence in the galaxy did not mean peace. It meant something worse was watching. Something bigger was waiting. Inside Earth's deepest bunker, under the Andes Mountains, Commander Rhea Locke stood before a round table filled with holograms. Dozens of systems blinked red-marked as lost contact. These were the outer systems beyond Council space, forgotten colonies, faint outposts. And one by one, they had gone dark. She spoke softly. How many do we estimate? A technician answered, possibly 20, maybe more. We only confirmed 3 are still alive, and they're not talking. She looked across the table at Dr. Moreau. His face was hard, unreadable. It's them, isn't it? She asked. He nodded once. The others. The real ones the Star Reader dinner had killed. It was just a scout. In the cold void beyond mapped space, the true Star Readers were stirring, and they had heard the screams of their fallen brother. They were not scared. They were interested. Deep beneath Mars, in a locked vault, dinner was not sleeping. It was changing. Its body, once smoke and shifting steel, now pulsed like a star itself. It had fed, yes, but in doing so, it had remembered. New thoughts stirred in its strange mind. It saw not just stars, but the things behind them. Patterns in space. Voices inside black holes. Shapes older than galaxies. And one voice kept repeating, "You are one of us." Dinner didn't understand what that meant, but it didn't care. It wasn't human. It wasn't alien. It was hunger, shaped into form. And now it had tasted a Star Eater and wanted more. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council argued. Some demanded Earth hand over dinner. Others begged Earth to attack now, before the other Star Readers arrived. But Earth said nothing. They were already building something new. In the lunar shipyards above the moon, a fleet was forming. Not ordinary ships these, were living holes designed to follow dinner. Each one built with fragments of the original weapon, each one connected to the creature's mind. Project Last Bite, they called it, a line of defense, or a hunting pack. Earth had chosen not to wait. They would go to the edges of space and strike first. Commander Locke stood. On the bridge of the new flagship Howl of Iron, around her, the new fleet hummed with strange energy. Every system was powered not by fuel, but by pieces of harvested star cores, cracked and reforged using dinner's blueprint. "Where is it?" she asked. The tech replied, "Still deep inside the Mars vault, but it's awake. Watching us. Can we communicate? No, but it knows we're ready." Outside the ship, space shimmered. Dinner's shadow passed over the station like a storm. It had not used the gates this time. It had become one with space. It hovered beside the fleet, waiting. And then it turned, not toward Earth, but toward the dark edge of the galaxy. Toward the place where the other Star Eaters were gathering. A long time ago, those creatures had destroyed entire galaxies. Their hunger had no end. They were not evil. They were natural. It's like black holes, like death. It had never been stopped. Until Earth. Until now. Dinner launched forward, tearing a path into the uncharted void. The new Earth fleet followed, faster than light. The stars bent behind them. And for the first time in known history, humanity went on the hunt. They reached a dead system, cold, empty but not silent. The darkness there was thicker. And when they arrived, they saw it. Stirred her, bigger than anything recorded.
Out.
its body wrapped around an entire star cluster. Thousands of tentacles, eyes like burning moons. It had not noticed them yet. Dinner didn't wait. It shot forward like a spear of fire straight into the monster's heart. The fleet opened fire, weapons glowing with core light. The Star Eater roared, a sound that tore apart a planet nearby. Its flesh rippled, its shadows screamed. But this was different. This was not fear. This was war. Back on Earth, Dr. Moreau stood watching the stars from a mountain observatory. He heard a whisper. In his ear, though no one was there, a child's voice said only one thing: "There's more." And then silence again. He looked up. Somewhere far away, dinner was feeding again, and Earth had just served the second course. The second Star Eater fought harder than the first. It screamed across space, releasing waves of gravity so strong that nearby stars twisted and collapsed. Its arms stretched across light years, pulling in the remains of broken systems. It was older than memory, smarter than its fallen brother, and far more dangerous. But it had never met dinner. The creature from Mars crashed into the beast's center. Tearing through layers of shadow and fire, it didn't stop. It didn't hesitate. It bit into the heart of the monster and began feeding like a beast at a feast. The Earth fleet surrounded the battle, firing wave after wave of energy into the Star Eater's arms, trying to distract it. Ships burned, shields shattered, but they kept pushing forward. Humanity had decided long ago, this was not a fight for survival, it was a hunt. Inside the command ship Howl of Iron, Commander Locke watched the chaos unfold on every screen. Flames danced across space. Planets shook. Sensors screamed from overload. "How long can dinner hold?" she asked. The reply came, "It doesn't care. It's not trying to survive. It's trying to win." Then something changed. Began to melt. Not from weapons. Not from heat. From fear. For the first time in its existence, the ancient creature tried to escape, but it was too late. Dinner roared, not with sound, but with hunger. Its body expanded, splitting into tendrils of pure darkness. Each strand shot into the monster's body and began to devour it piece by piece, memory by memory, power by power. And then silence. The Star Eater was gone. All that remained was Dinner, glowing brighter than a small sun. Back on Earth, Dr. Moreau watched as a new signal reached the observatory. He read the data slowly. The second Star Eater. Erased, not destroyed, consumed. The fleet had already started moving again. The third one had been spotted near the galactic edge. The hunt was not over. Commander Locke sent the message directly to Council Space. Confirmed second kill. "We're going after the next one. Do not interfere." In the council chambers, leaders of thousands of species sat in silence. Their fleets had failed. Their weapons had melted. Their worlds had nearly died. And now, they watched a single planet once. Ignored, once laughed at, led a war that even gods had feared. Earth was no longer just a member of the galaxy. It was the predator. The third Star Eater didn't run. It waited. Its body was cold and sharp like ice forged in black holes. Its mind was ancient. It had seen galaxies born and forgotten. It had heard the death screams of its brothers. It wanted to understand. Dinner arrived first. They met in silence. No battle. Just two beings, one born from madness, one born from fear staring across space. The Star Eater sent a message. Single thought. "Why do you hunt us?" Dinner replied with an image. A human child. Sitting on Earth, eating ice cream, laughing under the stars. The meaning was clear again, because we're hungry. That was the last peaceful message. Because after that, the third Star Eater struck first. It opened a wound in space, a tear into another reality. And from that tear, more came. Not starters. Worse. Things without names. Shadows made of time. Creatures that should not exist. Dinner didn't flinch. It tore them apart. One by one, drinking their energy, learning their shapes. And with each bite, it evolved again. Bigger, faster, smarter. Now it moved like thought, spoke like gravity, and smiled like a god. The Earth fleet joined the battle, no longer in fear, but in rhythm. Every ship moved like part of a living storm. They no longer just followed dinner. They danced with it. The council watched in disbelief. A human voice broadcasted across the stars. We are not prey. We are not peacekeepers. We are not diplomats. We are the ones who answer when. The stars scream, and then the third Star Eater fell. Years passed. The war became legend. Star Eaters were hunted to the ends of the universe. One by one, they disappeared. Some were destroyed. Some joined. Yes, some chose survival. They bent the knee to Earth, to the creature they feared most, to the thing the humans had named as a joke, but now spoke with reverence. Dinner. And now, the stars are quiet again, but they are not safe. It's far beyond the galaxy. Something bigger is waking. Something the Star Eaters feared. Something even dinner doesn't remember. But Earth is ready. The girl from the cabin, now a grown woman, walks into the new vault. She places her hand on the glass. Inside, dinner pulses softly, resting like a sleeping dragon. She whispers, "They called you a monster, but you were just the first course." Dinner opens a single red eye and smiles, because somewhere out there, the universe is still full of stars, and Earth. Earth is still hungry.